If something bad keeps happening, it's not bad luck, it's structure. This episode isn't about blaming players or relitigating losses, it's about applying the same standard backward, calmly, consistently, and without nostalgia. Today we're going to be talking about why recent Yankee teams failed the standard. Before we start, let's set the ground rules. This is not about championships totals. It's not about individual errors or one bad series. We're not judging results in isolation. We're judging patterns. Because by this standard, patterns tell you everything. The number one way that teams have failed in the recent years is because of their October fragility. The most obvious failure is also the most misunderstood. Recent Yankee teams didn't fail because they weren't talented. They lost because their strengths didn't survive pressure. Now, the Yankees have always been reliant on the home run. We're the Bronx Bombers. We're known for that. But recently, in October, we're either boom or bust. And teams can't win championships if they're so one dimensional. You have to have guys that get on base. You have to have guys that steal bases. You have to have guys that get clutch hits. It doesn't have to be the home run. It could be a single with a guy on second base that scores a run. Every single run in the playoffs matters. Yeah, it's nice to get four at once with a grand slam. Sure, everybody loves that. But obviously, you're not always going to hit home runs. So, too many times in the last few years, this team has gone boom or bust and just gone cold in the playoffs. Maybe not in the first series, maybe in the divisional series, but regardless, when your strength is not your strength at the most important time, that's a problem. And even this past year, our starting pitching was pretty good. Max Fried was pitching really well. Rodon pitched really well. Cam Schlittler came on at the end and he pitched pretty good. We also had Will Warren and Luis Heel, who were decent. Come the playoffs, Max Fried had a good game. The rest, not so great. Luis Heel, not so great. Will Warren, not so great. Rodon, not so great. The only guy who pitched consistently well out of that rotation was Cam Schlittler. And thank God he got promoted. Hopefully, his growth continues and we have a really good starter moving forward. But having that boomer bust offense, having your strengths not survive in crunch time is the biggest issue that our recent teams have had come the postseason. By the standard, if your identity disappears under pressure, it was never an identity. October didn't surprise these teams, it exposed them. The next way that we've seen our teams fail recently in the playoffs is the dependency on plan A. Here's the quiet pattern that keeps repeating. The Yankees build teams that work if everything goes right. But far too often, everything does not go right. In 2023, we missed the playoffs completely because one player missed 50 something games. Aaron Judge got hurt running into that wall in LA, and because of that one injury to one player, it's not like it took us from division champions to barely getting in the wild card. We missed the playoffs because we were too reliant on one player that we didn't have for, I think it was 56 games. That's not good enough. You have to have a lineup where you can count on more than one guy. The last 2 years, Judge has been healthy and he's carried this team into the playoffs. And as far as everything going right, you look at 2025, well, that was last year, and we didn't have Cole. Our starting pitching, like I said, we did well during the regular season, but these guys didn't show up in the playoffs. And historically, the only player on our pitching staff and our starting rotation who does just as well or better in the playoffs than he does in the regular season is Garrett Cole. So last year, not having him was a disaster. Now, the year before, in 2024, when we got to the World Series, a lot of people were talking about Judge's struggles in the postseason. And once again, you're far too reliant on one player. That if one player doesn't perform, every single hitter on this team should be able to get on base. You shouldn't have that hole at the bottom of the lineup where, there's 3 guys that are batting at or below 200. It's not going to cut it. That's not how you win championships. That's not how you compete for championships. And by the standard, that's not planning. That's hoping. Another way recent teams have failed is that explanations change every year. One of the clearest signs that a team fails the standard is when the explanation changes every year. One year it's injuries. Another year it's variance. That's one of the Yankees' favorite things to say. Oh, you get into the playoffs, it's a crapshoot. It's not a crapshoot for everybody. The LA Dodgers know that they're going to be competing and going deep into the playoffs because they have depth at every position. They have a deep lineup. They have a deep rotation. They have a deep bullpen. 1 or 2 guys goes down, they'll be fine. Their defense struggles, their offense makes up for it. Their offense struggles, their pitchers are going to shut you down. For the Yankees, we're super reliant on a couple of hitters and a couple of pitchers. And another explanation we've gotten is the matchup. We just don't match up well against this team. Well, we just didn't match up well against the Blue Jays last year. There is no reason to not match up well against any team. If a pitcher owns half the team, well, guess what? You make that pitcher throw pitches. You work the counts. You get him to throw more pitches, get that pitch count up, and get him out of the game and get into that bullpen where you'll have a better chance. And that's another thing. When your hitters are patient and work the count and make starting pitchers throw, you get into that bullpen, and in a series like the divisional series, the championship series, the World Series, if you can get into the bullpen quickly and face these same guys over and over, as hitters, you start to get an advantage. But if you're not working the counts and you're just swinging at everything, you go down 1, 2, 3, and their starters go deep into games, and then you only need 1 or 2 shutdown relievers, and that's it. In the World Series, it was defense that killed us. And afterwards, the Dodgers said to the media, our goal was to have them to put the ball in play and have them make plays because we know that they're going to throw the ball around. That's exactly what we did. So one year it's injuries, another year it's variance, another year it's matchups. The reason changes because the process doesn't. When the explanations rotate, accountability disappears. And another way teams have failed, Yankee teams have failed in the playoffs, is because the uncomfortable decisions have been delayed. Like I've said before, elite teams make uncomfortable decisions early. Recent Yankee teams have consistently made them late. And whether that's moving on from a player, like we've talked about DJ LeMahieu, again, he was great for us in the beginning. Won a batting title. Got injured. And after that, he's just not the same. That affects the role clarity on this team as well. Because DJ LeMahieu was supposed to play third base. When he couldn't do that, he could only play second base. Then you got Jazz playing third base. Jazz isn't a third baseman either. You finally move on from DJ LeMahieu, move Jazz back to second. You stabilize the position at third base with somebody who can play defensively in Ryan McMahon. But he can't hit. So you're replacing one hole with another hole. Then the other uncomfortable decision to move on from players, well, this year already we're talking about Giancarlo Stanton. Is Giancarlo Stanton past his prime? Yes. Is he still able to help this team win? Maybe. He gets hurt a lot. He has come through for us in the postseason in the past. This past year, not so much. He struggled. And if you're going to be injured that often and not come through in the clutch in the playoffs when we need hits, not only that, but if he's not hitting a home run, he's hitting a single or a double if he's lucky. He can't run on the bases either. He's a liability on the base path. And the reason the Yankees want to keep these guys around, you're paying them a lot of money. And that's great. It's good for him for getting all that money. But to keep a guy on your team just because he's making money when he's not performing, that doesn't do your team any good. And it's not going to help you win championships. And it's a big reason why the Yankees have been failing in the postseason lately. By the standard Delay is a decision, and usually that costs you margin. Now, what does this not mean? It doesn't mean the Yankees were unserious. It just means that they were structurally optimistic. The problem is, optimism is not a strategy. It's not a very good one. Now, history doesn't predict outcomes, but it absolutely informs evaluation. So the only question that matters now is this: has the process changed? And that's something we'll see. I'm looking forward to this year. I am excited for baseball. The off season feels so long. We've got Judge. We've got our pitchers should be coming back. If everybody's healthy, it should be an exciting year at least. But is this going to translate in the postseason when it matters most? We'll see. The standard isn't about punishment, it's about correction. And until the same problems stop appearing, the evaluation won't change. Next episode, we'll apply the standard moving forward to this roster as it stands today. This is The Standard with Brian Leavy.